Monday, so you know what that means. It's another Flame Central podcast presented by OrthoVirginia. Matt is a little off this morning, guys. I just want to throw it out there. He's so annoyed.
He's upset with us.
I mean, God gave me these broad shoulders to carry this podcast week after week after week. So I'm ready to go.
We get in here, rain or shine. You know, I pull in the parking lot.
Rain or shine? You weren't
even here last week.
He
didn't say snow. I guess he didn't say snow. He said rain or shine, not snow.
Yeah, not ice, not snow.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing the podcast?
Don't even try.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be hitting the slopes.
No.
I have a little. No. And then we see videos from the slopes.
No, that's a lie.
Yeah.
That's a bold-faced lie. You didn't have the right time. I said, I'll wait to do the podcast early. You said, no, Joe, just go hit the slopes. Have fun. Yeah. Right? That's how the truth is. Now, today, I get in here. Sure, I'm running a couple minutes late. Okay, sure, I'm running a couple minutes. But I get into the parking lot out here, and it's got the blue fence all the way around it. And guess what, guys? I park and there's nowhere to go through. And if this was,
oh my gosh, did you try to walk all the way?
If this was January 1st post-holiday, Joe, if it was January 1st post-holiday, he's not slipping through that crack in the fence. But post-holiday slim down, Joe, he squeezed his way
through that fence right
there.
He
squeezed his way through that fence right there, and I'm here, bells and whistles. Smiles on. So you know what?
That's good.
Drop the attitude, buddy.
Okay.
Let's go.
We're happy
I
to
can't
have
believe
you
you
here.
squeezed through that fence. I was thinking you were gonna have to walk all the way
I
back
squeezed
around.
through.
Wow.
January 1st, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. I think it's all that time on the slopes that you've been
That's right.
skiing
Cardio.
instead of working. Yeah, work hard, play hard for Joe Yacht.
That's
Great to have him back. Great to have you listening or watching. Flame Central podcast presented by OrthoVirginia. We are going to hit men's and women's hoops today, and we also have a very special guest.
Oh, yes, we do.
A new member on the mountain, new defensive coordinator, Shawn Quinn.
DC.
Joining us for our interview today. So excited to hear from him.
We've been trying to get him for
Coach Quinn.
a month or however long.
Coach Quinn.
Yeah.
Hokie, baby, coming from the Hokies.
That's right.
So Joe doesn't always watch, the basketball games. So we have to. Matt has to carry the load. Hey. But now that there's a football guest on the show,
Joe
really
gets a little
excited. Right up.
I park right up. No, I love basketball. I love hoops.
I know you. Oh, wait.
I do love hoops.
We have a story about your son that I saw scrolling on Facebook. So we'll get to that in just a moment. Maybe you have some slope stories. But first, let's talk about men's
Let's talk about
hoops.
Hoops,
a historic start to Conference USA
They ain't
play.
playing around.
I can't believe this men's team. I mean,
Homie
they are
don't
just
play.
so fun to watch. And Caden Matheny is just, I don't know why I get surprised anymore when he has a shooting night like he did on Wednesday against,
Ballin' shot call.
Middle Tennessee. When going into this game, Matt and Naz thought that this was going to be the true test for the Flames in Conference USA. Matt, your reaction?
I mean, I was shocked. Not shocked that they won, but shocked how it went down. But when Caden Matheny makes his first 6 3-pointers, all in the first half, that's going to be tough to overcome if you're Middle Tennessee. Listen, Middle Tennessee is a lot bigger, and they used that against Liberty. They had, I think it was 18 second chance points, and it didn't matter. Because Liberty ends up shooting almost 62% from the field.
It's not a stat that matters.
It is not. I do have one for you coming up.
A number that matters.
It's not a number that matters.
But the bottom line is right now with Liberty, offensively the way they are, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Are they great defensively? No. Do they need to be? Not when they're as efficient offensively as they've been.
You are really going to annoy. We're already on thin ice with Matt Warner today. So you just whispering over there, let him talk.
Let Joe break it down. You want to let Joe break it
down?
No,
go ahead.
Yeah, I want to hear Joe break down the Middle Tennessee game.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I mean,
people talk about us having chemistry. This is like the bad chemistry.
When you get beat on the boards, right? You get beat on the boards, but when you are on with Rhett McGibbon, warm, hot, and fuego, and you go in fuego 6 for 6, which will be the
Liberty did win the rebounding battle. Go ahead.
But they got
Yeah, they gave up some.
But when you hit 6 threes like that in a row, it sends a message. It starts that the dagger's been inserted. All you got to do is turn it and put them down. Yeah.
He literally just said what Matt Warner said in just a different way. Yeah. I think it was during this game that they showed a stat that Liberty has the second best field goal percentage in the nation.
Yeah.
It was like Miami, Ohio or something.
They have,
first,
they're behind Miami of Ohio in both effective field goal percentage and field goal percentage. We're second in the nation.
That is wild.
Third in 3-point percentage, 4th in assist-to-turnover ratio, and a sneaky stat that you don't talk about a lot, 6th in fewest fouls per game in the nation.
Wow.
So you're defending
Those are
without
stats that matter.
Those are stats. That's not even the number that matters. But yes. So, yeah, offensively, golly. And I hate doing all the, like, is this the best team at whatever? Like, we're not going to do that.
Don't do it.
Let's do it.
No,
offensively,
don't you start,
offensively, this might be.
I know.
I mean, those numbers, that's elite.
I know, and it's just exciting that you don't know who it's going to be each night, and there's been a lot of hype on Zach Cleveland. We've known it, but I think the world has started to take notice.
My mailbag question is related to that.
Ooh,
we'll get to that.
You know what? I knew it, but I'll tell you this much: I didn't realize it was gonna be like this. I mean, I saw a dude do like an Instagram. I don't know who he was. Instagram like, who's this dude?
Yeah.
Right? And you're like,
his
whoa.
highlight
I
reel.
knew that like he's good, but he's taking his game to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Like in his, I don't know what training he's doing with what's the name of the guy who's the head basketball, the strength coach over there?
Rob Hornet.
Rob Hornet. Like that dude's doing something with him because he's jumping out of the gym and his twitchy. You look for dudes who use the word twitchy.
Yeah.
Dude, that little. That little white boy getting twitchy.
Something I want to point out, and we talk about this transfer portal and how much it could hurt college basketball, well, really any sport.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing with this team and just the level of chemistry I feel like with them, this is what makes me so sad that if this was to leave, the college athletic world, because you don't get this on teams where it's just like you're playing together for 1 year. These guys have been together 3 or 4 years now.
Chem,
4
baby.
in some cases.
It's all about the
3 with
chem.
Matheny.
Yeah, with Matheny,
all about the
and
chem.
then 4 when Porter and Cleveland came in together. So this is just something that's so special that you get with guys who stay together longer than a season or 2 seasons. And then I think it's a little, maybe easy isn't the word, because I don't want to discount like how difficult it is to insert in like a J.J. Harper or a Javon Moffmer and stuff like that this staff has found through the last few years. But it's just, I don't know, like this is why the transfer portal to me is like so annoying, because I love seeing this kind of basketball. Every time you get a different announcer, they talk about how beautiful the basketball, even coaches that we talk to, just like it's beautiful basketball. You don't want to get like wrapped up in it, and especially when you're competing against them. But it could be the best team.
Stop.
Well,
we'll see.
Long way to go.
But I will say this: like, I hope Flames fans don't take for granted what they're seeing this year, because listen, you may not have a group like this again in this era. You know what I mean? You may not have a group that sticks together like this moving forward. So this is a special unit to be able to do that together, and we've seen the results from that, and just it is special. They're the envy of every coach we talk to that says, man, I would love to be able to have guys that stuck around and have a group that knows each other like this, but I've got to replace 11 guys off my roster and try to figure it out. So this is very, very unique this day and age, and they've been ridiculous.
Stop holding us in suspense and give us the stats.
I didn't know if it was.
No, but you want to give me the. Do you remember the song?
I don't remember the song. Stats that matter, baby.
That was not it. That was not it. No.
We mattering with the stats, baby.
Yeah. But what I want to ask you, Matt, is this team, from what you've seen so far with Conference USA and this men's team, do you think that there's been a drop-off in talent level in the CUSA?
Yes.
Or is this
do?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. The conference is not as good this year as it has been in years past.
That's because of the transfer portal, and the best players always leave to
what
go
was
to
it?
the
I think
P4
at the start of the year, it was like 22 of the top 25 scores from last year gone.
And then Liberty has a team that they hold together,
right?
And now you're getting all the benefits of
Absolutely.
that. So you're seeing a little bit weaker on the side, but then you have the team that holds it together.
I mean, you look around, Jerome Pierre Jr. was one of the best offensive players in this conference last year. He's crushing it at SMU. Justin Porter was a great guard for Middle Tennessee. He's doing great at Clemson. Like you have so many of those kind of stories. So yes, the league is not as good as it was. I think last year it was like the 7th or 8th best league. This year I've seen like 13th, 14th based on all the numbers. So it is not what it was. Yeah. And so that just accentuates even more the strengths that Liberty has in terms of continuity. So yeah, for sure.
I mean, but that isn't taking away from what Liberty is doing and at all, because now, it is very hard to go night in and night out in conference play being 10-0.
And you've seen it from everyone else. I mean, you look at the standings. No one else has fewer than 4 losses. Liberty's 4 games up in the loss column over everybody.
Wow.
And so people are just beating each other. So absolutely, you're seeing that. The interesting part will be now, you're at the halfway point of the conference season. The second half, the second time you see these teams, you expect those teams to continue to grow more because, again, they've started a lot lower, right, in terms of expectation and chemistry.
Yeah.
Like,
They're
where
gonna
can
improve.
Liberty continue to grow? That would be part of it. And on that note, an interesting thing to keep an eye on, and we touched on a couple of weeks ago.
Is this a stat?
But I want to circle. It's not the stat, and that's not.
Gosh, we're just
I want to circle back to
really
it. We saw footage pregame at Middle Tennessee. Isaiah Enan working out with the knee brace on, going through workouts, and if he becomes available at some point in these last 10 conference games, like that's one of those areas where Liberty could kind of level up a little bit more, depending on what he's able to give you.
Dude, that's
it's not
dicey.
like he's not.
That's dicey.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. It's not like he's
rolling.
just being inserted in. He's
No.
obviously going to be practicing with them and stuff.
But it's not.
it does
You're not
make
taking
me-
minutes away from a Matheny or a
That's
Cleveland.
true.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like you're taking those. You're just saying, can you provide a little length for 8 to 10 minutes a game? And another interesting thing, because we talked about how legit is this, like they put out an availability report for the conference before every game. This is new this year. Like health-wise, you say, is the guy questionable? Is he out? Whatever. Like this past week, he had been listed out full season. Now he's just out game. So like they made that change officially as well. We've heard McKay talk about it, but now even officially in the availability report.
Yeah.
So I am curious to
When
see
the questionable comes up.
when does this, because you're not doing this, you're not wearing a brace, you're not going through workouts if you're not trying
To
and
come back.
thinking you can come back.
Right.
Why are we doing this? You'd have had surgery and been done with it and started rehab. So I'm still curious to see what that could look like.
Oh, it's exciting. Okay, we got the number that mattered coming your way. We also have an interview with Shawn Quinn, Liberty's new defensive coordinator. I'm really excited to talk to him about what he's going to bring here to the Mountain with this football program on that defensive side. Liberty's 12-game winning streak is tied for the second longest in school history. The longest time they won that many games was in the 20-21 season. That was the COVID year, right? So is this team as good? Comment below. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
And then we'll have, I'm sure, some story time with Joe because he doesn't have anything to add to men's basketball.
You should start trying to do for our social media teases something like you just did a second ago.
God.
Something really like clickbaity. Like maybe you go the opposite way and you say, I don't think this team is even a top 5 Liberty team. Click and comment below and let me know what you think, just to generate engagement.
So are you saying
that's a good idea.
Maybe we clip like a different tease and do
it's
that?
not actually in the show, and so then people go and listen, and you never actually
That's a
said
bait
that.
and switch.
We cut it. We just do it
That's
separately.
the old bait and switch right there. I sort of like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
We'll
I
think about
have
that.
plenty
That's
of time on
next
my hands.
level social media engagement.
Yeah.
We'll work on it.
We need a social media
Yeah.
manager.
Yeah.
Okay. So Matt, the suspense. Can you
Number
tell
that
us
matters.
the numbers
It's
that
very
matter?
simple. The number is 8. This show brought to you by the number 8. As in, only 8 teams in the country are still unbeaten in conference play.
Okay.
Whoa.
Let me give you this list.
When we did the broadcast, last Saturday?
Week and a half ago, whatever
It was like 14.
Yep, so it's trimmed
Wow.
down. So the list goes like this. Liberty, obviously, 10-0.
Are the Dukies in there?
Duke,
Oh,
sorry about that. Arizona, Gonzaga, UConn, St. Louis, who's been a big story this year, Miami of Ohio, also incredible, ranked, and North Dakota State. Those are the 8. So it is slimming down. The Bison having a strong year. It is slimming down, but Liberty, one of those
And
select
some
few.
elite company.
Oh, by the way, as you look forward, so Liberty, they were off on Saturday. They go to Delaware on Wednesday. They're in last place, although they're playing better and they're talented. Liberty's 6 of their next 7 games are against teams that are currently under 500 in conference.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How bad do you think, not to be negative Nancy here there, because I'm always Joey positivity. How
Can I tell you that recently I said something to my kids. They were like, oh, that guy's 10. And I was like, well, actually, I think he's better. And they're like, oh, you sound like Joe. You just sound like Joe. Jack's like, oh, Mr. Positive like Joe. So that even now my
at least
kids,
I'm having an influence
they
on
connect.
your
They connect you and the positivity. Yeah.
do you think that with the Conference USA being a little bit weaker, Liberty's good. Do you think if things pan out and say Liberty does, not necessarily run the table, but win the conference, get a bid to the tournament, that the blowout loss to NC State earlier in the season is going to really hurt them because they look at the conference and they look at that and they go,
No, because I think you're allowed to have a bad night.
Yeah.
I think you're allowed.
What do you think?
It doesn't help. I think if you're looking at a loss that hurts worse, like they lost to Towson, who we thought was going to be a really good team, and they've been lousy. Yeah. So that ends up being a bad loss.
Right.
NC State, yes, if you go and actually look at the box score, it's like, yikes.
Yeah.
But I think over the course of the season, like the win over FAU looks really good right about now. Charleston has been pretty good. That was a good win for Liberty. Dayton, like that was a really good win. So they have some really good wins. I don't think that'll hold them back. The bigger question, and I think maybe we had somebody write in on one of the mailbags. I forgot.
Oh, get it organized, Matt.
I know.
Remember, you can be a part of the show.
Yes, tell him. I always forget to do this.
Flame Central at Liberty.
By the way, I sent out 3 mugs.
Did you
this
really?
Past week? People are hitting me up. Caden Matheny's mom.
Warner,
She wants a mug. I sent it out to her.
You get a mug.
You get a mug.
Sending them out.
You get a mug.
I had somebody on campus come by my office because they heard about the mugs. They wanted to get one. So
how do they find your office?
right now.
It is very difficult
they are
to find our
hot
office.
right now.
Hey, you should bring some on like a little backpack when you're skiing. And then just hand them out on the slopes.
We hand them on slopes.
Yeah. We should just go
You
to
get a mug. You get a mug.
We should go to local
You get
coffee
a
shops
mug.
and just go in and be like, that coffee would be a lot better.
You know what?
In one of these.
Doesn't Ironclad
They're a sponsor.
They're a sponsor?
I think, of
Okay,
Liberty.
so maybe we can drop some mugs off there and people for purchase.
We can do that.
We can do that. We'll figure it out.
And then with the profits that we get, we can hire a social media manager to do our little teases.
So, one of the mailbag questions, something Naz and I were talking about the other day.
Are we in mailbag now?
Not officially.
Tell me when we officially.
I'll let you know.
The show has gotten completely off the rails.
No, we're good.
If Liberty were to run the table,
run it
in conference play.
Great.
So let's just throw this out there. That would get you at 28-3. Then you win the first 2 games in the tournament.
This is crazy.
30-3.
This is crazy talk.
But you lost in the conference championship.
This is what my husband was just saying.
I was going to ask
you have the resume to get in as an at-large?
So you're sitting at
30-4.
30-4 at that point.
I think you should. I do think you should.
Yeah. I don't think they would.
You don't? It's just not the schedule, right?
The schedule, just because the conference doesn't help as much this year. There hasn't been, and maybe Sam Houston will be that team. They're 7-4, but there's not like even another team in the league that is like, whoa, that's a great win. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what though? I'll say this.
I don't trust the committee with the
here's what it goes back to the committee. I think that with the committee, if that was to happen, and you were to say, okay, let's take a deep dive into this team and like, how good are they actually? Yeah. And they watched them play and had a pulse for the play and looked at the national stats and the things they do. Then you look at it and you go, does this team have a chance to be very competitive in a playing game or whatever it may be, and then win that game and then give somebody a go? Or are they one of the best teams? And I think if you, even though it's an easier schedule, whatever it may be, that if you do a deep dive on Liberty, right, the way that I've done a deep dive, then I think they would definitely be in for consideration by how good of a basketball team is this.
I think in that situation, that's where your NC State outcome would be used as a knock against them. And I just don't trust the committee to take a mid-major over like some 500 SEC team. You know what I mean? Like that just seems to be the way that goes. But that would be an incredible controversy talking point heading into the tournament if that were to happen.
All right, do we hit women's basketball real quick?
Do that at the end.
Or we'll do that at the end because this conversation with our new defensive coordinator is so great. So let's get to that right now.
Let's go, baby.
The moment we have been waiting for. Matt Warner has been stalking Brad Queen to get this interview.
I mean,
come on.
Man.
Get it done.
You've been in demand since the announcement, so I'm glad we could get you here.
Excited to be here.
I hope you live up to all the
I've heard a lot,
yeah,
so the bar has been set high.
We have built you up big.
I'm excited to be here.
Don't you let Queen give you the Heisman like that. Queen's been giving
Quinn.
Queen, Brad.
Well, but Queen setting up the interview.
Queen.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like
You know,
trying
yeah.
to.
Queen
Woo!
setting up the interview was giving Warner the Heisman because of all the.
I'm used to it. I'm
No,
used to
Shawn Quinn, the new defensive coordinator, is a very, very popular. He's been on the road recruiting.
Yeah. I'm sure you've
it's
just
been
got
a
to
little
ease
busy.
your way in, right?
Yeah, it's been fun. Portal and then high school recruiting. So glad to be back home base, back here in Lynchburg, getting ready for spring phase 1 we're in right now, and excited to be around our guys.
What I'm excited about is spring ball is a little bit later this season because of all the ice and freezing temperatures. It's usually like in February, and it's really hard to adjust to like all the cold, even though we have the great indoor. But you're not moving far. You're just coming from Virginia Tech, just 90 miles up the road. What was your first impression, and why Liberty?
Really excited, really blown away by the campus. Played here in 2022 when I was at Virginia Tech, and didn't know much about it other than the stadium. Knew it was a nice stadium, but got here and was blown away with the facilities, the commitment to athletics, really a first-class operation. And you know, when Jamie called me, it was kind of out of the blue. We were just finished the season. I had been offered a job by Coach Franklin to stay there and was in knee-deep in recruiting, and all of a sudden this came on my radar, and I was excited because I know the tradition here, great players, great setup, an opportunity to win the league and go to the playoffs. That's the goal here. It's a great place. Coach Chadwell's got a great reputation, and so I said, sign me up. Where do I go? So when the interview process started, I was obviously excited, and so when I got the offer, I talked to Coach Franklin. Coach Pry, who's kind of been my mentor over the years, and they were like, this is a tremendous opportunity. So knowing what Coach is about and what he's trying to do here and all the resources and the commitment Liberty has to athletics and football, I couldn't say no. I was excited and ran as fast as I could to get here. So it's been great. The kids have been great. The coaches, obviously we hadn't played a game, but it's been fun. Been a learning process, but really excited about the group of guys we got coming back. It's a whole new year. Great tradition, but this is a whole new team, a whole new chapter. So go write our story and see what we can do.
That's a nice thing about the transfer portal.
Well,
It's always
positive or negative, depending on how it goes. Yeah. Now, what was your relationship with Jamie Chettle? Because I know you were at Charleston Southern, right? But did you guys miss each other?
I was there for like 2 weeks.
Okay,
so
you must have made an impression in those 2 weeks. Yeah.
He offered me a job, and I left and took another job, and so I figured that door was closed. But but had a ton of respect for Coach and what he's about, and coached some of the same guys. And so some of the players had reached out to me and said, Coach Chadwell was inquiring about you. And we've just ran into each other on the road and in coaching circles. You know, that guy's a head coach. You want to be on his good side, and got to know him, and obviously been impressed with the work he's done. And so when he called, obviously I was excited, but it was from afar, to be blunt with you.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you sort of came up through the ranks and ended up here at Liberty.
Well, I went to Carson Newman College. I'm originally from Chicago, and went
Carl
to
Torbush?
Yeah, Coach Torbush was awesome. He treated me first class.
Didn't Dino Waits?
Dino's a Carson Newman guy, so there's kind of kindred bond. When I walked in there, we were like, we made eye contact right away. But went to school there and had the similar ethos and the mission that Liberty has, and so became a high school coach in Georgia, and coached in Tennessee for a while, and then got a neat break. I was at Maryville High School as a defense coordinator, and Philip Fulmer offered me a job at the University of Tennessee. And so since then I've been a college coach. I was studying for the LSAT. I was going to go to law school, and coaches at Carson Newman said, hey, we're getting you a teaching job. And so from there I've never took the LSAT, and I've been coaching ever since. So and just kind of been really fortunate to be at some great places with great people, and those guys become your family. Some of my coaching buddies are like brothers to me, not just acquaintances through work. But was fortunate to go to Virginia Tech 4 years ago. I'd been a head coach at the Division II level at Savannah State, and Coach Pry offered me a job there, and so enjoyed and got to know the state. I taught geography, but didn't know a lot about the state of Virginia, ironically, of all things. So didn't realize how close Lynchburg was to Blacksburg. So it was a easy, quick move 90 miles over. So it's been good, and just try to pour into the guys. I'm a Pete Carroll disciple, believe in being positive with the guys. I think you win people over that way, and win a lot of football games. And so had fun with it, and we got to not only help these guys win on in the field, but also off the field. And I believe if you get to know them, you see what the Patriots are doing, but they talk about their bond and the type of guys they have and their closeness. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're the ground floor of this team and working on the chemistry part. So that'll be the first thing we do before even getting the X's and O's.
That's awesome.
Tell me a little bit. You talk about the X's and O's though, like scheme-wise. Like, what are you about? What's important to you on the defensive side?
Well, JMU may be watching this, but I won't take too much. But no, you got to play fast. You can't tie the front up. You got to make it simple. Being a former teacher, you got to make it likable and learnable where the guys can learn, because you do have a lot of new players every year with the portal and just the world we're in. You got to make it where guys can learn it. We'll be based out of a 3-down, 4-down front. We'll interchange out of those, but everything starts up front. A front 7 guy, and I'm a believer that if you're good up front, you can cover a lot easier. You can get to the quarterback a lot easier, but you know, and be multiple, but also be aggressive. You know, solve your problems with aggression. So you want to blitz and play aggressive and play on their side of the line of scrimmage. Bud Foster was a big proponent of mine, and also somebody that I really leaned into over my coaching career. So he always would say, "Hey, Shawn, when in doubt, blitz." So I've always had that adage. So
I like that.
But
until you get beat on a 60-yard blitz.
But you also
Everybody
have to
wants to
adapt
blitz.
to what your guys can do. Each year, you're like a band. What songs do we play well? What do we do well? Maybe more zone, more man. Each team's going to have different characteristics, and that's part of coaching, is fitting your stuff to what your players can do. Because we don't play. You know, we just coach. So
have you had an opportunity to sit down, maybe not recruit, we've not recruit so much, but have you had an opportunity to sit down and look at film on some of the guys that are returning that you know are coming back, and what are your general thoughts on those guys if you've had a chance to do that?
Before I went out on the road, Coach thought it was important, and I did too. I met with every player on the defense, one-on-one, spent some time, watched, we did what's called a POA tape, a point of attack, 20 to 25 plays on each kid, on each player. So we got a chance to watch those guys, kind of understand what we had, and in recruiting, know in the portal what we're looking for compared to what we need, what we already have on campus. So I came away very impressed. They've done a good job with the high school recruiting. A lot of twitch, speed was much better. A lot of guys that are pretty athletic. So, and then seeing them work out in the morning, so that's giving me a little bit of an idea what we're working with, and super excited, like a good group of guys. Obviously new, and they don't know us real well, some of the new coaches and some of the players that are new, so we're still a little bit of, hey, what's your name, where are you from, you know, because there's so many new players, which is part of it. But spent a bunch of time kind of before we even get into recruiting finding out what we had, because I think that's important. The most important thing you can do is maintain your roster, recruit your own roster first, and then how can we add pieces that's going to help make us better.
How do you determine in your philosophy for, like, okay, here's what I have, here's what I like to do as a coach. Like if you're a 3-4 guy, you're 3-down front guy, 4-down front, 4-3, whatever it may be. Hey, we'll play some zone, we'll play some man. How do you as a coach determine what direction you go with your defense according to the personnel that you have? Or do you just say, listen, this is what I do, this is what we're gonna do, we may not fit, but we'll recruit into what we do? What's your flexibility and sort of philosophy on that?
I'm a food guy. I know you can't tell looking at me, but I do like to eat. But I'd look at it like a menu. Okay, what ingredients do we have available in order to make a good dish on here? So we got steak. Okay, we can maybe do some kind of steak meal.
Steak's
all right,
good.
we got over here. We got some pasta. So let's make. So figuring out, I think we got really good size on the back end. So we got some corners that can play press. They can do some man stuff. They can play some cover two. So what's in our scheme that fits their skill set? And we got some good guys up front. We're active. So really kind of what in your playbook fits with the guys you have in the building.
Okay.
And then what do you have to do within that to beat the teams you're playing? Because ultimately, forget stats and else, the objects will win the football game. So what do we got to do to win? If that means we run two things, we do those two things. But you know, you kind of have an idea watching the guys move, what they do well, and there'll be some similarities to what they've done in the past, some completely different stuff than what they've done in the past. So I don't know if I answered that, but you're kind of figuring out within that framework of your roster, what can those guys do well, and you do that by watching them move around, and there's some basic things. You're going to run some quarters and man and zones, regardless of what your scheme is, 4-down or 3-down. So there's some universals, and then from the universals, what do we do well, and we'll kind of major in those things.
Have you figured out over since the transfer portal is coming, like you have so transient players that are coming in, coming out, coming through. Have you changed your philosophy more towards, since I don't have, you know, I know I'm going to have a kid for 4 years or 3 years, whatever it may be. That I've got to adapt my system more to make it a little bit, you talked about making it a little bit easier from a mental standpoint for the players to be able to do something and be good at it quicker than, it took us half a season really to get it together.
It's the KISS here, keep it simple, stupid. I mean, you have to do it where the guys can learn it, because you don't have necessarily the benefit of a guy for 4 years like you used to. Like, hey, by year 2 he'll figure it out. Well, he's got to figure it out by month 2.
Right.
You know, so
by spring ball too. Right.
So simplicity. If you go back and look, when I look back every year, I'll do what I call a post-mortem report on the good, the bad, the ugly of the season. And the games we played really well generally were pretty simple. And so as a coach, you can overcomplicate it. Yeah, so what do we do that we can do well? And then there's some good things. It's like you go to a restaurant and they have 42 pages in the menu, close it up, hand them back to them, and leave. If you go to a restaurant and it has 3 things and it's packed, they do those 3 things well. So we've got to get good at
Cheesecake
something.
Factory.
And so we got to spend time doing that. You know, it can be. The dessert section alone, but you've got to definitely do that. And you can have these grandiose ideas, but having done this for a number of years, you have to be realistic on what you can get taught and your guys can learn in the amount of time that you have and get good at. And so we'll spend more time on that. And then as the season goes along, it's like a house. If your foundation is simple and they can understand it, you can add layers to it as you go along with more calls and more
and you
tweaks.
figure out what you have good and what's not so good. And whatnot.
See, this just supports my theory I've always had, where if a place is pizza and burgers, then neither the pizza or the burgers are any good.
Yes.
If you got to do both, you're not good at either.
There's a reason why Chick-fil-A just does chicken.
I mean, you do one thing do it well. That's right. Last time you called a defense, was it Savannah State?
Yes.
How much of an attractive part of this job was that, getting to do that, and what makes a good defensive play caller within a game in your mind?
Well, and I'll temper that. Actually, it was the Duke Mayo Bowl last year.
Okay.
When I coordinated. But, you know, having a feel for what your guys can do and what the game dictates, I think that's important. And the ability, you know, big Tony Tungy fan. He was very composed. I'm very animated, all that. But on game day, I'm other than the officials, I'm pretty much like this.
You'll fit in here.
So, and I found that if I can be that way, that players respond to that better. But just having a good feel for the game and then not being panicky and just relying on some things. And a lot of times you got to do a really deep dive on a coach. Like, okay, you're stopping what he's doing. What's his answer to those things? What did he do 3 years ago, 4 years ago he did this? And kind of understanding what his answers will be when you get going in a game. But I think the best experience is experience. And having done it for a number of years, I was able at Charleston Southern, for example, make some mistakes that, you know, you do that on a national stage and it's your first opportunity. That's hard to do. And so, you know, you look at Coach Signetti, he got to do those things at in the smaller schools and then worked his way up. And that's an advantage I've had. I've been able to do that a number of places, you know, and won't be perfect, but you can rely on some things that has worked and things you've done over the past that you've learned from. Like we said, not overcomplicating things, you know, and so that's a big part of coaching is keeping it simple and where the guys can go let them play.
So it sounds like you will be down on the field. What are some pros?
He doesn't know
I think so.
Yet?
But no, that's the plan right now. We'll keep that all. We're going to talk through that this spring. You know, with the communication being different than it was a couple of years ago now with us having the NFL stuff, it's a little bit different. But the thing I do like about that is you can see the players, look them in the eye, talk to them, get to gauge how they're doing, whether they're rolling or they're in a little bit of shell shock. How can you counter good or bad what they're doing? So, but that's the plan right now. We'll get to spring ball and then we'll figure it out.
Let him get through spring ball.
Okay, I need answers. I need answers now. Will you be coaching a specific position group?
Outside linebackers.
Okay.
Yep. So that lets you, I think as a coordinator, it helps when you do the front and the back end, you're tied in at linebacker. And I still, again, I go back to the old school. You know, we were option offense at Carson Newman in high school. We won a state championship run. That you have to stop the run and be able to defend the run game, and it starts with the front seven. There's not any defenses that have been part of it than any good that can't defend the run. And so that's the holistically where you got to start is in your front seven. If you're good there, it's a lot easier to cover. It's a lot easier to come up with exotics on 3rd and 12 than it's 3rd and 2.
Well, you'll get some good practice against this Jamie Chadwell offense.
They huddle and they run the football, so I wave both hands. You know, you get as a defense coordinator, you know, I had a chance to work with John Chavis at the University of Tennessee, and he was at one of his last stops, he was at a place where they never ran the ball, and so he said, don't do this. Go somewhere where they run the football. So just, you know, as a defensive guy, there's a certain rhythm, and you play complementary football, and Coach Chadwell's all about that. So
that's I was just thinking of that. Like, how much in your decision making when you look for a job do you look at, as a defensive guy, do you look at the offensive side of the football and the philosophy of what they do? Because you go back to some of the teams when hurry up no huddle was rolling, and these teams either score in 3 plays or they would be off the field in 3 plays. That obviously has to weigh on you. And then when you look at Jamie's offense and their ability to be always in the top of the nation rushing the ball, does that weigh into your decision sometimes on taking a job?
That's so
1,000,000%. Because, you know, you can work at a place where it's 49, 48 every week. There's an SEC school, they're going to score 49, but they're going to give up 48. And, you know, as a defensive guy, that's not a lot of fun. You know, and you want to
make you look very good.
Somewhere where you have a chance to, you know, play good defense. Obviously, as a defensive guy and being a former head coach, I looked at that so this is always one of the really attractive jobs because it's a great job, and then you have a chance to win, and you have the support, and also it's complementary offense and defense. So it kind of checks all the boxes, and I love the colors too. So
nice.
Nice. But it's been great, and obviously we got to do our part and get the ball back. It's all about the ball, so we got to do a good job creating turnovers, defending the run, limiting explosive plays. Some of the coach speak, but those still hold true regardless of what style offense you run.
Okay, I do need some more answers about like the Joker mask. Is that staying? What do you know about it? These are very important.
I'm learning
you
about
set the tone because you can toss it if you don't want it. This is your deal.
Yeah. What's the vibe of the Joker mask?
It was huge.
It was big.
It was big.
Listen.
Well, it was great when we.
It's great when you lead the nation in interceptions. When you don't, it's I don't know. Yeah. You know what I would like? I would like
the jury's still out on a couple of these.
Let's get a sack, something for sacks, because that's where I feel like you talk about getting after the quarterback. Yeah. That's been an area where maybe we haven't been as strong the last couple of years. I guess in terms of player acquisition and going out and you've been, to the portal, all that stuff. How hard is it? Because everybody wants that edge rusher or whatever. How hard is it to find those guys that either you think have already produced, or is it more so you're trying to look for traits at a place like this and hope you find the diamond in the rough that you can kind of coach up?
All the above. Yeah. They're hard to find. I look for that tree where they grow on. They don't exist. So there's a lot more DBs and wide receivers out there than there are guys that can rush the quarterback. Yeah. And so those are really hard to find, and you'll notice when those guys get an offer, they'll get 20 of them in a hurry because they're at a premium, and you're looking for a diamond in the rough, and you may take a guy that's really kind of a raw that can get to the quarterback, and rushing the quarterback's kind of a natural skill. It's like when you go watch a quarterback throw, he's nice and easy.
Right.
You don't want to have to overcoach somebody to throw the football if you sign a quarterback. Yeah. It's the same thing with pass rush. You're looking for a guy who has natural ability. The last place I was at, we had a guy named APR, had 25.5 sacks. He just God gave him that innate ability to rush the quarterback. Wow. And some guys have it on a high school film, some guys don't. And, if you're spending gazillions of hours trying to teach a guy how to get the quarterback, you probably got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of you notice a guy twitch, bend. You remember the old slinkies?
Yep.
You put him down the stairs. When you watch that guy rush the passer, he has the ability to contort his body in a lot of different ways and get on edges and get to the quarterback. And it just kind of pops on film. Yeah. And you find that guy, you're like, all right, coach, can you take his film down? Don't let anybody else know about it. So those guys are a premium, and they're the hardest ones to find. And in the market, those are the ones that, with the NIL and rev share that are the most expensive guys. Yeah. And the NFL's the same way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's kind of a model now. You kind of see corners, pass rush guys, quarterbacks, same way college is kind of shadowing the NFL now.
That's Slinky. That's kind of how people describe you on the slopes.
Yeah, but when you talked about edges and bending, it's very similar how I get on the skis and the slopes and I'm doing my slalom.
I've seen your skiing advertisement online now.
You have
all over Vail, Aspen.
They don't call me Joey Shreds for nothing.
Right. Are you making a return for the Olympics here coming up?
I'm thinking about it.
Coach, we've had this thing where he's going to run a mile. Initially, I think it was 5 years ago, he said he could run a mile in 6 minutes.
No, I didn't.
And then I'm like, no, I will bet my life that you can't run a mile in 6 minutes. Even if I trained you or one of our best runners trained you, it didn't matter. And he goes, I didn't know that there was 4 laps. So it's 8 minutes. I can run in 8 minutes.
We're still waiting.
We're still waiting 5 years later. And now he's like, I can do this on the slopes. And I don't know.
It's happening. Don't worry.
Okay.
That's just a little backstory on Joe's athletic ability.
When is that supposed to go down?
Well, exactly.
When is the big
when? That's the question.
When is
TBD?
Yeah. What was your question?
What was
Sorry,
my?
I went.
Yeah, you got me. Oh, what was it? No, it was
about
good.
Pass rushers.
Oh yeah, okay, I know what it was. So you say that pass rushers, are at a premium. Okay, they get gobbled up.
They do.
All right. So now, as a coordinator, do you say to yourself, okay, now maybe I don't have a greatest pass rush, so now, but we want to get to the quarterback. So now I have to manufacture that in a different way, and that could be through a 5-man, 6-man, 7, whatever your pressures are, right? Well, then what does that do? On the back end, now, okay, if we're going to do that manufacture, have to figure out a way to manufacture pressure, then we have to become more of a man-to-man team, right? So now I got to go out and recruit or find good man-to-man players. So how do you balance that out when you look at your roster and you go, man, I just don't think if we rush forward, we're going to be able to get to the quarterback, and it's tough to play zone behind that for a long period of time. Yeah. But I don't feel comfortable rushing. I mean, these are the things I'm sure are going through your head, rushing 6 guys and having to play man, and maybe my man cover guys aren't that great. So, like, how do you figure all that out, I guess is what I'm getting at.
You hopefully first, the way you help yourself is go recruit the guys that can rush the passer. We've got a couple.
Yeah.
Brenton decided to come back and was great, and then we signed a couple guys in the portal we thought were pretty elite at doing it. The other thing that you see in college football, and you see Indiana do it specifically, is they run the simulated pressures where they're only bringing 4, but it's somebody else coming. And they're creating the illusion of 5 or 6. And they're only, that's kind of become the rage, and that's a really good answer. And creates some coverage issues for the quarterback, but you're still only bringing 4 guys. So you don't have to just play man. You can bring other different types of coverages and stuff, and that's where you got to go, okay, we don't have a guy, so then we better bring pressure other ways. Do we have man coverage guys? If not, we got to find ways to do it with a zone concept behind it. So,
and also finding the weak link within the offensive line or whatever it may be, and putting pressure on that side, not necessarily with extra guys, but
there's always generally a weak link. We call them the fish, and we look for the fish and try to find the fish and isolate the fish.
And you're the shark.
That's a good way to put it. But there's definitely generally on the offensive line, there's somebody that's the guy that's the weak link, and you know, we did a nice job at Virginia Tech with APR doing that. We put them on their least guy with the best guy. And there were some sacks that came from that. So that's a way to do it.
I just found the best idea, figured out the best idea. We have a shark mascot head. Okay? It's somewhere in this office. I have no idea where it's at.
You do what you want to do, Coach. You don't
have
to
that could be the sack.
Yeah.
Coach, whenever she says I have the best idea, it usually means it's not
and they
a great
could put
idea.
oh my gosh, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna find it and I'll let you you can have it in your office.
I'll be waiting on bated breath.
Yeah, bated breath, exactly.
And you can make the decision.
I'm gonna let the guys know tomorrow that that's coming. So.
They got the little fishy.
He's going back to the office. Guys, great news.
I've got it.
Yeah.
I found the sack celebration.
I do think, all joking aside though, that it is good to have some monikers, some things that, you know, the guys buy into that. Everywhere I've been, you'd be surprised. You know, even the NFL, they'll give them a T-shirt, and that's something they only can earn. No matter how much money they have, they can only get that T-shirt if they perform. And there's something to be said for being in that exclusive club. So whether it's a Joker mask or a shark head or
some DC, I can't remember who it was over the years, that he would have like a laminated. This is back when people carried wallets, right? A card that, like, if you had forced a turnover or sack, welcome to the Playmakers Club. And you only earned that card if you did. So something like that.
We're doing research right now on what's the best. I got a couple really good ideas, but we'll see. We'll run them by our test group and see how they like them.
That's cool.
But,
I like that.
Okay, well, we're throwing the shark at it.
I got a feeling that shark might get dropped.
You don't have to put that in front of the committee.
All right, you guys have anything else for Coach? You were great.
Appreciate
so
it.
excited
Awesome being here.
to really learn more about you and your philosophy.
Big spring.
Yes.
I mean, big spring for everybody in the program. A lot of new faces on the field and on the sidelines as well. So we're excited to watch.
We're determining phase 1 right now, the winter, and then we'll get to phase 2, the spring ball. But just to, you know, as a coach, you're only looking at 5 minutes in front. You know, it's like, hey, who do you play? I'm like, I'm just worried about today.
Right.
So can we get better today? And our guys I just left, we're working out in the indoor and excited to see those guys getting after it. A lot of new guys. And so the chemistry part is really, really important. That's what we're spending a bunch of time on right now.
Coach, I got one last question.
Sure.
So it's getting ready to start practice, and it's raining out pretty hard.
This is a big thing for Joe.
It's a big thing for Joe.
It's raining out pretty hard. And you have this beautiful indoor facility, right? But it's raining out there pretty good. Are we practicing in the indoor facility for the defense, or do we want to get some time out in the rain?
We need to work some wet ball drill and get outside.
Thank you.
So.
Joe is a huge. Every time it rains, I get a call from Joe. Hey, they're outside. Are they outside?
Yeah.
No, you got to be outside in the rain.
We went
that's
inside.
A huge thing for Joe.
We went inside. Well, guess what? You're outside when you play, and if it's raining, you better be able to handle a wet ball.
That's right. I agree.
Golly, that drives
now, if
me
it's
nuts.
20 degrees or less, I want to be in the indoor. But
Right. Yeah, we're all in agreement
Freezing
there.
rain, thank the Lord for the indoor.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, Coach Quinn, thanks so much.
Great to be here.
Happy to have
Excited.
you here on the
Nice,
mountain.
Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I found the shark.
Yeah.
I found the sack celebration. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Joe, what you didn't see is after our interview, Joe kind of pulled Coach to the side and was like, listen, you don't have to listen to anything she says.
Why is his nose so dented?
Don't worry. Just ignore her.
You know what they say about sharks? You get attacked by a shark.
Punch him in the nose. Right in the nose. Bang. Yep, that's it.
Oh my gosh!
I don't think that's going to make the Liberty
I
sideline.
don't think that's doing it. Yeah.
You thought you were gonna like throw it.
Yeah.
What you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh man, if you're not watching, you can on the Liberty Flames YouTube channel to see what I was just wearing on my head. Brad Queen suggested that I do my sideline hit with it. So maybe that's the only TV time that it'll get. But anyways, wow, what a great interview with Coach Quinn. Excited to have him here on the mountain and what he's going to do with this defense.
Yeah, we were just talking. I think when spring ball starts up, we'll get a mic on him and do kind of an in-depth look at him and his style of coaching and get to know him a little bit more that way as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's been a whirlwind for him. I'm sure he's finally glad to be able to catch his breath, be in the office a little bit, and now start focusing on, instead of
coaching,
what is our team, to let's get to know these guys and start building this group.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see, when just talking with him and get an idea what his philosophy. It'll be interesting to see what he feels that he has on defense, and then the portal pieces that come in, and then sort of how he constructs all that. But I do like the idea of the day. I think the days of like, this is my defensive philosophy, and then you might get redshirted. Yeah. We'll bring you in, teach it to you, and grow, and then build to become a really cohesive multi-defense. I think those days are behind us, and the coaches that adapt best to the new style with all the transition are going to be the ones that are most successful.
Well, we'll keep you updated on what that defense will look like through spring ball and our coverage there, and then also what will the sack celebration prop be, or maybe the turnover prop. We'll keep you up to date on that as well. Mailbag in just a moment. Let's hit women's basketball. Lost to FIU on Friday. Those games are moved because of the weather just has been so pleasant. And then won against Missouri State. Matt was on the call with Naz for those games after they got switched. So I don't know. Little tough stretch for them lately.
Yeah, it has been. They lost 5 of 6 before they beat Missouri State on Sunday. That was Missouri State's one of the better teams in this league, so that was a huge win. It sounded like the Lady Flames had a little what Alexis Sherrard said, we had an old school practice where we didn't use basketballs until the last 20 minutes on Saturday between those 2 games. So I think they got after it a little bit, and it showed in the way they came out in that game, built a big lead, held on for dear life down the stretch, got the win. That was a big one, and if you look at their schedule, their next 4, I think, are definitely winnable. And so they're in a stretch now where hopefully they can start to turn it around. And getting Ife Nwabi back from injury, that was very important as well. She was a huge impact in that win. So now you're at full strength. Hopefully they can get rolling. Awesome.
And the women, like you said, I'm sorry, their next is on the road I know men are on the road at Delaware on Wednesday, and then Saturday women
are at Jack State next.
At Jack State next. So, hey, all that matters is being good in March and winning that conference tournament. Men are looking good. Women hopefully can turn it around. All right, Joe, you got a story. I was scrolling on Facebook and saw that your son had a huge win.
Oh, yes, he did have a huge win. They played, he's at Huntington University, NAI school in Huntington, Indiana. And they played Grace University, who is #1 in the nation. They were 21-0, undefeated. And the Foresters came out and knocked them out in overtime.
Wow.
Had a big 8-point lead with like 2 minutes to go, gave it away, went into OT, and then Landon Beagle hit a couple big threes, and the Beagle has landed.
Classic Beagle.
The Beagle has landed. So that was very exciting for Jared. And news, we're heading there on Thursday night. Joe Yock's on the call. Saturday.
That's good. It's not your first time on the
No.
call.
It's not my first time on the call for Foresters basketball.
So if you like Joe's basketball analysis here, you're going to want to tune into that.
I am on the call.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. He is going to have plenty of numbers that matter for you on that broadcast. So tune into that. Hey, like I said, you can be a part of this show, Flame Central at liberty.edu. You can also catch our show every week, Flame Central. There was a really cool piece, Step Into My Office, about Dot Richardson, showing all of her cool memorabilia in her office. So be sure to check that out Also, a great piece on, gosh, my brain.
I saw that. I saw that.
Bueno.
I saw the Dot Richardson piece, the Golden Glove.
The Golden
She's
Glove.
got, I mean, no one's office is going to be more unique than what that has.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, here I was winning a gold medal. Oh, here I was hitting an Olympic home run. Like, it's like, oh, yeah. You know.
Olympics start this Friday or Saturday.
I know, the 6th, I think it is. Yeah,
they
Friday.
talked about putting Joey on the slalom team, but it couldn't fit my schedule.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to our mailbag.
Yeah.
Every time I haze my turn around and be the mailbag.
Very good. We got one from Dan. Dan says, and this goes to what Joe mentioned earlier. He goes, I saw a video posted on X, guy named KJ Scouting. It's gone viral, over 1 million views, of Zach Cleveland's highlight reel. They mentioned Zach being one of the best mid-major prospects in the 26th draft. Could we see back-to-back NBA draft picks from Liberty? Because, Taylor and Peter this last year. Listen, I didn't think we'd have one. Taylor, it surprised me when he got picked. So all it takes is one team to fall in love with Zach. I don't know. 6'7" makes it tough. If it was 6'9", I would say absolutely. 6'7" might make it a little bit tougher, but he is so unique, as we've talked about.
Unique.
He does so many things well. He's gotten so much attention. That video has spawned other people diving into his highlights. I've seen all these videos all across social media, people just learning about him. So who knows? Who knows if he has a strong finish? And listen, we have seen so many guys that get into an NCAA tournament setting, if Liberty were to get there, and they have a big game, and then suddenly that changes everyone's perspective on them.
Yep.
And so, I mean, who knows? If you get to that stage and he has one of these type performances, who knows? Who knows?
I mean, NBA, he's a unicorn. But
whatever happens, he's going to make a lot of money somewhere playing basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Like that, we know. We know.
I mean, if he it's a no-brainer if he goes overseas, and he will definitely be such a fun. I feel like with their European style of basketball, he'd be so fun in that kind of game. But like you said, it only takes one team. I think his shooting would need to really improve with being only 6'7". But he's just so unique with his no-look passes, his vision. I don't know. So it will be exciting to see that because I know that some NBA scouts have been to Liberty games.
There have been a number of NBA scouts showing up for Liberty games. So,
his numbers, I mean, he's flirting with the triple-double every night, I feel like. So
I agree with you. I think it's interesting because if you were to go to the tournament, right, and you go in as a 15 seed, whatever it is, 14, whatever it is.
It'd be right now they're projected as a 12.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That high?
So, that
okay,
high.
so you go in as a 12 and you play a 5. Well, 5 is going to be a really good team.
Right.
And in order to get that kind of recognition, you'd have to go up against one of their studs.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, we're not in Conference USA, we're playing P4 school that has an absolute stud. And then you ball out in a game like that to prove that you can do it at the level of competition. That would help get you in the door potentially for a lot of these combine type of workouts where now you have the opportunity to at least compete against it.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't Liberty a 12 seed last year?
I think they were.
I want to say we were.
Yeah.
Because
Oregon was a 5.
I remember doing one of the stand-ups, and the 12th seed has, I want to say, one of the highest chances of upset. So that's why I remember that. So
you know a movie I watched on the airplane? Hustle. It's
Adam Sandler.
With Adam Sandler. It's a good movie.
Good movie.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it was a good
Is that
good
old?
basketball movie. No, it was
not that old.
A couple years old, maybe.
But yeah, he goes over to Italy.
European player.
Finds this guy off the playgrounds and tries to get him into the NBA. But it's the reason I might think of that is because so much of that draft isn't necessarily you playing for Liberty University. So much of it is being good enough to get invited to go and play in these against the highest level of competition and see where you stack up.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, great acting.
Anthony Edwards did a really good job. They had so many stars in that. It was great.
I'm going to have to add it to my maybe list. Anything else, guys?
One more mailbag.
It's another mailbag.
Our buddy Steven
Steve-O.
says, hey, with
the
excellence of the broadcast team being a given, can you speak to the caliber of the production program at Liberty and maybe do a backstage feature on a future episode? Sounds to me like he wants to see more Doug, is what he wants to see.
We need more Doug.
He wants to see the people
Don't
behind.
Give us more Dougie.
Don't forget about Ken. Ken,
Right.
Don't
our
forget about
director,
Ken.
our director is amazing
forget
back
about
there.
Dougie.
He's the one that's like going between the shots, and when we're all talking over each other, he doesn't. He just takes the wide shot.
He says, then, P.S., I'm not sucking up, but I do want a mug. So I think maybe there might have been a little bit of that there.
I think that's some sucking up.
But I can tell you.
But I love it.
I can
I
tell
love it,
you.
Steve-O. I love it, Steve-O.
Yeah.
Send him a mug.
I think I did.
Did you?
Or if I haven't, I will. But I can tell you when we do a game versus when, let's say, CBS does a game, in terms of the equipment, in terms of the number of cameras that we use and all that's at our disposal, it blows them out of the water. So that's part of what you're asking is like, how do we compare when other people come in, the bigwigs? We blow them out of the water in terms of equipment and cameras and all the things we have at our disposal.
I want to say it was the men's game on Wednesday at Middle Tennessee. Wasn't there an out of bounds play? And they only had the wide, like high top camera. There was no other way to look.
Well, and a lot of these, like
courtside.
the producers in like a different state, like, and so it's just like there's a delay and there's all these other things that go on. So, thanks for noticing that, though, Stephen. We appreciate that you noticed the difference.
Matt, just reminding you if you didn't notice. Hey, thanks so much for listening or watching to the Flame Central podcast presented by OrthoVirginia. We really appreciate
Last
it.
thing.
Oh, wow.
We haven't gotten to it.
Whoa.
Punxsutawney Phil saw Shadow today. So we got 6 more weeks of this stuff. Okay? Sorry to be a downer.
You want to hear something funny?
Sorry to be a downer.
You want to hear something funny?
Get used to it. What's that?
I was laying in bed this morning, right, and getting ready to get up, and my wife.
It was 9:05, and he was supposed to be here at 9:30.
Stop it. So I'm laying in bed at 6:30 in the morning.
Right.
And my wife is laying there too, and she all of a sudden I hear her say, just dead quiet.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere I hear she goes, that freaking groundhog saw its shadow. 6 more weeks.
Yeah.
And I just started laughing.
Yeah.
That freaking groundhog saw its shadow.
Which that's also a great movie.
6 more weeks.
That's awesome.
Like it was like, this is really going to be part of the deal.
Softball starts Friday.
Oh, yes. Softball starts Friday. They have some national recognition, obviously, going into this season. Excited about this feature that we're working on, about that Texas A&M victory, kind of a big moment, my moment type thing for them. Another feature coming your way in the next couple of weeks, Avery Mills of the women's basketball team.
This week, 2 stories that we'll be putting out. My moment with Zach Cleveland.
Bam.
It's a little different than you would expect. It was pretty
teaser.
cool. And also, we caught up with Javon Moffmer playing in Poland. That story will go out this week as well.
Moffmer's in Poland.
He's in Poland and has
Polish
developed a cool
Flash.
relationship with another former Flame that's playing over there. So you can learn about that when that comes out this week.
Awesome. Flame Central drops on Thursday on the Liberty Flames YouTube channel. This is a Flame Central podcast presented by OrthoVirginia. For Joe and Matt,
Bada bing.
Emily, we'll see you next week. Where's my shark?
Bada boom.